Well, it's that time of the week. And who do we have? This is just for the Father Knows family, this is just a Justin and Jerry night.
I guess it is, yeah.
So it's just, you know what I forgot to bring with me? We have a liquid death there for me in the back.
Maybe.
I'm going to go check it out. Hold on a second. We're going to have another wonderful episode tonight, but this one is Justin and I.
Yes.
It's just the boys.
Just the boys.
The girls went out. They went to go do their makeup party or something with, I don't know, was it with?
We don't want anything to do with that.
Nah. But we're going to have a great time, just you and me tonight. And thank you, Liquid Death, who keeps sending us stuff.
Yeah.
And we're drinking it because we love it.
You got some dirty fingers there.
Yeah, I actually try to clean these things. I started to do some of the furniture that Morgan's been after me to do. So I was at the hangar stripping.
Stripping
varnishes and things off furniture.
Okay.
And I can certainly see it here. Dad was being handy today.
At the Fix-It shop. Well, now we are at the Fix-It shop.
Yes, there's two different kind of Fix-It shops. This is where we fix, hearts and souls and things of that nature.
Yep, and hurt feelings.
And feelings, yes. We might put a Band-Aid.
Whatever else is on that sign there.
Yeah, but when it comes to the other stuff, we're at the other Fix-It shop.
Okay.
So what do we have tonight?
Well, based on us doing a family drama episode recently, if you remember.
I do.
We had an influx of family drama write-ins, basically.
Really?
So we have a whole bunch of write-ins about family.
So are we doing like a part 2 or
it might have its own name?
Family drama lives on, continues.
I mean, maybe it just brought it up for a lot of people. We are going into that time of year.
And the holidays.
Where it all comes to the forefront.
I think a lot of us are just having a lot of emotional stress. Just what's going on also with the elections.
There's a lot going on this fall.
It's a lot going on, and so we just got to just dig in and we'll survive. We'll be fine.
That's what we're doing here. We're just, Father Knows keeps on rolling.
So we're going to just put on we have funky socks on today.
Nice.
And they say funky.
Yes.
And we're doing it. And let's see what they got for us tonight.
Okay.
Story number 1.
Are you sure?
Story number 1. wait, look. Story number 1.
Yeah, that's good.
Story number 1.
Yeah, you're just getting better and better.
Yeah, they have enough. They're having enough of this. Let's get a roll on it.
Sorry in advance for the long post and talking about Christmas in October. I will try to keep it short. My 25 female parents divorced when I was 10. They were always somewhat civil with each other until about a year ago. Without going into detail, they had a massive blow up created by my dad's psycho ex, and now they don't talk at all. My dad's mom passed away earlier this year, and he has cut off all family apart from myself and my brother, 28 male. Again, there's a lot of drama involving his ex and being toxic, cutting him off from family, etc. Now we get into Christmas.
Okay.
My brother and I have always spent Christmas with my mom. In past years, when my dad was single, my mom used to invite him over, but for the last couple of years, he's been in relationships. However, this year will be the first year that he's single and potentially looking at spending Christmas alone. Obviously, we don't want him to spend Christmas alone, but if we don't spend Christmas at home with mom, she would also be alone. My mom has offered for him to come over, but I feel like it's going to be so awkward/tense with just the 4 of us, and honestly, I can't see my dad wanting to do that anyway. The only other option I see viable is my brother spends Christmas Day at Dad's and I spend it at Mom's. Then we switch on Boxing Day. I know my mom will kick up a fuss about that though. Honestly, we are so stuck. We both still live at home with our mom, so having them over at a neutral place isn't an option. It will be next year when I move out though. So any ideas on how we can split Christmas fairly would be great. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't have an idea about you splitting, but I really do think that what you should do is all go do it together. I think you'll be fine, and keep it with the spirit, and let the nightmares of Christmas past be gone, and let's heal and let's go forward and conduct ourselves as a family. Because dysfunctional or not, we're a family. You have to let things heal.
Yeah.
And maybe this is a great opportunity to force that to heal.
Well, and it's all, I mean, it's an opportunity to see how well things have healed, maybe.
Yeah.
And then if things go crazy, then you know what? There's always the option to go.
And there's always a door.
That's right.
You didn't lock it. But I think that they can behave, and I think that you might end up having a really nice Christmas.
I mean, you have a couple things pointing towards that. In past years when my dad was single, my mom used to invite him over.
Mm-hmm.
So it's happened in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And then more recently, my mom has offered for him to come over. And the only thing blocking that is OP saying, I feel like it's going to be so awkward and tense with just the four of us. And I can't see my dad wanting that anyway. Have we asked Dad about it? Have we proposed this option to him to say, hey, you know, like we used to do in the past, you know, Mom offered, do we want to try and all just have a good Christmas together?
Come on, Dad, let's get past it.
And just, I think our writer here just doesn't think it's possible, because the ideal outcome is just find a way to split our time fairly between parents. So
let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Should we take her at their word that Dad's not going to show up for this, and we should give her give her an alternative plan just in case?
I mean, sure, might as well.
Okay, so plan one that we like is everyone just bite the bullet and let's go have a nice Christmas and see how it rolls, which I really do believe is what the best option is. But if you can't, you know, sharing, you know, your brother and you splitting a couple hours each way, if you guys are willing to do it, why not?
Yeah.
I really see Christmas as a time to be with family. And yeah, families have fights. Families, we say things sometimes that we want to kill each other. But at the end of the day, we are family. And Christmas is the time to heal this stuff. And maybe your dad will do it. I would try that and see where that goes, and write us back, make a comment how that worked.
Yeah. Well, I think the more common way to do this is you do Christmas Eve with one side, Christmas Day with the other.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you have, you know, divorced parents, or whether you find yourself in a serious relationship and you can't spend it with your partner's family and yours, unless everyone comes together. I'm sure that happens, but in you know, most often I feel you have to choose one or the other, and it's a toss up between Christmas Eve or Christmas Day.
I actually like that one better. That Christmas Eve they're with their dad, and Christmas Day they're with their mom, and that's just the way it's going to roll.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a bad option. And if you absolutely have to, it wouldn't be impossible to split up Christmas Day. You could go do brunch, hang out, watch some football, whatever you're into. Hang out, have X amount of hours here, then go home, middle of the afternoon, later afternoon, do a nice Christmas dinner with the other side, and do your gifts and that kind of thing. You can also pull that off. It's just, you can't get to a position where you have both parents expecting you for the whole day, when obviously we can't be in two places at once.
I mean, I certainly know that, you know, in our household, with multiple fathers and families that we did, Danette was always out shopping on Christmas Eve. So,
She still is. She still does.
Right. So Christmas Day, you be with, if your mom is like Danette, you hang out with mom Christmas morning, you wake up and you're all going to, you know, brother and sister will be there. And Christmas Eve, you hang out with dad because he's not out there shopping consistently. He's at home. So you guys make a nice dinner and you do that.
Yeah.
And that's simple and easy, and it's clear cut.
And as you know, as much as some of these sound simple, they can be really complicated. I've dealt with some of these holiday dynamics, and it can be a lot. So I think it's hard to give you the perfect answer. I think we've given a set of some good options, but really it's going to come down to, your family dynamic and, maybe you all end up being together and it works.
I would certainly talk to your dad and say, can't we pull this off? Can't we do it?
Yeah, at least just give him an opportunity to think about that option.
Say yes or no.
Because it is the easiest, especially for you kids. So who knows? I don't know.
Miracles happen. Miracle on 34th Street.
That's true.
It could happen. All right. We're going to roll on to number 2.
Number 2.
Yes.
Hi, Jerry, Morgan, and Justin.
Hello, Justin.
Big fan of FCAS and THT. Y'all are my go-to podcast for my commute. I, 27 female, haven't spoken or seen my biological grandfather, 80-ish male, since 2014. He is now not doing great health-wise, and I have to start thinking about whether or not I will attend his funeral. Some backstory: my mom's, 59 female, parents split when she was 7, and her mother got remarried to her stepdad, and he filled that father role for her. Growing up, she still saw her bio dad during holidays and some weekends, but overall he was not a fantastic father. Not to mention, his wife, number 2, was in high school when he met her, and he was the football coach. Disgusting, and one of many issues my mother and I have with him. All she wanted as a kid was his approval. My mom shares 2 half-brothers from that second marriage, and her bio dad divorced number 2 when the boys were in high school. In her adult life, my mom made active steps to try and heal her relationship with her father, and it seemed to be going okay until wife number 3, not really sure if they ever got married. She seemed great at first and then turned out to be pretty awful. The moment in 2014 that broke the camel's back was we were all camping. My mom must have done something that set number 3 off, and then she proceeded to shit talk my mom to my bio dad, right in front of me. Number 3 and bio dad ended up getting in a huge fight later, which resulted in them leaving the trip early, and I haven't seen him since. He didn't attempt to reach out to me until my birthday 9 months later, which was crazy because he never sent birthday gifts before. I've pretty much written him off. He always just seemed like an extra grandparent that came and went, and he never made an effort to bond with me specifically compared to all of the fishing he did with my younger brother. My mom, on the other hand, has seen my bio grandfather/dad here and there for things related to her brothers. She too does not want a relationship with him for a myriad of reasons. We were chatting on the phone recently when she told me about his most recent stroke, and I asked if she was planning on going to the funeral when he passed. And she said she would go to, quote, make sure the effer is dead. I don't think I need to go for closure, but I do feel a sense of protectiveness over my mom and worry about how she'll feel on the day of. We're less mother-daughter and more best friends since I became an adult. Obviously, this is such a hard question because it's all hypothetical and he isn't dead yet. But should I just go to support my mom? Or should I let her handle this alone like a grown-ass woman? She claims she's fine, but there will be people acting out at this funeral over the fact that my mom will be in attendance. And I don't want my mom to be caught up in it. I'm sorry if this was just a bunch of word vomit. Please help.
Well, it's always nice to be able to support your mom. And that's the easy thing. If you take it, for what it really is, it's a day going to a cemetery and turning around and leaving. Simple enough. And the dynamic that goes on with all the other stuff that mixes in, you're doing a good deed. You're just being support for your mom.
Yeah.
Everyone has their own feelings regarding this thing. You're not doing it for him. You're doing it for your mom.
Right.
And let's leave it at that.
I agree. I think it's simple to go.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not a hard choice. It's just you go, you be a good support system, and that's it.
Yeah, you don't have to talk to the guy.
No, that's true. I mean, but just, with all the other dynamics, I think you'll feel better being there for her. Just also to be the buffer where it's not, hey, we're all going to start a huge bar fight at this funeral. you can be a good source of, reeling it in, saying if anything goes on and whatever could start happening, you say, all right, we're going to go. Mom,
That's
we're
right.
going to leave now. You've come to the funeral. We made it. And now we can go.
Right.
And you can help a lot in that sense. Whereas, if someone in the emotion of the day gets caught up, someone says something, it's just good to be there on the lookout for someone, not necessarily to be their knight in shining armor and go to the battleground for them, but more to just say, hey, this isn't worth it. We made it. And if anything happens, we're out.
Well, sometimes people say things that really make sense, and the other party doesn't have to talk at all. I'm the other party. I don't have to say a word on this one. You did great.
Oh, okay. I thought you were continuing.
Not at all.
I didn't know we had broken, out of the story at that point.
You did great.
Yeah.
Nothing more need to be said.
Okay.
Aren't we glad we got him? Are we not glad we got this guy? By the way, this came from the Portland show.
It did, yes.
Yes, and they were very nice. And I think he signed the back of it.
Yeah, you got 2 signatures on the back.
I do.
Yeah.
Roll on. We're on number 3 now, right?
One of this week's partners is Quince. I am so excited about fall. It's my favorite time of the year, mostly for the clothes. I love layers and I love a good jacket.
You got to have a good jacket, and they're hard to find. We went shopping this weekend, and honestly, couldn't find anything like this one. So I'm really glad I have this one.
So if you're in need of a little fall wardrobe upgrade, look no further. Quince is here to help. Quince offers affordable, high-quality essentials for any wardrobe. That includes all the seasonal must-haves like Mongolian cashmere sweaters from just $60, comfortable pants for any occasion, and a jacket that will weather all the weather. I've got my little brown one on. It even has a hood that unpacks. This has become my go-to riding jacket. And you know what the best part about Quince is? The price.
Quince items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands, so you can update your look without breaking the bank.
Quince, baby. So upgrade your wardrobe with pieces made to last with Quince. Go to quince.com/FKS for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns.
That's QUINCE.com/FKS to get free shipping and 365-day returns.
Quince.com/FKS.
Number 3.
First, I love the podcast NTHT. You guys make my week so much better, and I'm always looking forward to new episodes. On to the issue. It isn't me who needs fatherly advice. It's my dad. I'm writing in to see if Jerry has any fatherly advice he can give to my dad, because I can't seem to be able to help him myself.
Let's go for it.
I know he will think it's silly I'm reaching out, but I need to help him. My dad, 51, is in a toxic cycle relationship with his mom, my aunt, and his dad. For much of my life, it's been a constant cycle of seeing my grandma, then having her cut from my life, and then brought back in. Same with my grandpa and aunt. All 3 have been cut from our lives several times due to their levels of toxicity. My grandma is a narcissist. She's always the victim, always negative, and thinks everything has to be about her. My grandpa is very similar and at times tries to tell my dad how to take care of us. My brother, 25, and myself, 31. My aunt is the same as my grandma. Constant negativity, drama, and narcissist behavior. My dad is currently at the point where he wants to cut all of them out of his life, again, but he always lets them back in after a few years because he hopes they will have changed. I try to be supportive and listen to my dad when he talks about them and vents, but I feel like I can't help. I myself cut out my toxic mother when I was 18. But it seems my dad can't do that, despite how they treat him. How can I help my dad cut out his toxic family and give him the courage to be done with them for good, despite promises of wills, inheritance, guilt, etc.?
I'm processing it all because there's a lot of dynamics that are going on here. The most amazing thing is that you recognize and you support your dad, whatever he does do. And that is really ultimate love.
Yeah.
Having a discussion with him that I'm sure you are, just saying, Dad, I know you've done it. I've watched you, put them out of your life. And every time you we re-enter this thing. It's another replay. It's not healthy for you. I'm watching it and it does eat you up. Save yourself.
Yeah.
When you're dealing with family that are narcissists, you have to just put on your own oxygen mask and not let them affect you.
Yeah.
So if you want to have a relationship with them, you just have to keep it very basic. And, you can, look, we've all had these discussions with young adults. Boundaries. You just point blank saying, we got boundaries and let's just respect them. And you do your thing, I'll do my thing. I won't go into your side of your pool and you stay out of my pool, but we can say how, we can share each other's time and watch each other grow old, but we don't have to get involved where we're going to piss each other off.
Right.
And, your dad's at that age, he can say that. And as far as what they say for him to be a father to you guys as adults, he can say, we have our boundaries. I stay out of their life that way. They're grown-ups.
Yeah.
Take a lesson. I'm a grown-up. I'll do my thing. You guys do your thing. My kids my kids will do their thing, and we can all just let everyone experience life on their terms.
I mean, especially when your kids are 25 and 31.
Yeah. No, they're grown up.
I mean, I think they're off and doing their thing.
Yes. And because these people are so controlling and manipulative, they have a tough time letting people grow, because I don't know if they feel they're going to overgrow them and they're dealing with their own immaturity. I don't have enough of the facts to really do some assessments, nor do I have the training. Remember, I'm just a DAD degree. But I certainly practice boundaries with my kids. I just let them do their thing, and I don't get involved unless they point blank say, Dad, come bring your input and come on in here.
I mean, have you had experience needing to cut someone out and then bringing them back in ever?
I don't really recollect that.
Yeah.
I never played these yo-yo games. My dad was very difficult, but my dad died when I was 30.
Yeah.
So it was, he died and allowed us all to grow. Once he died, he had a tough time that if we were growing and experiencing, he had a really difficult time at letting us do that, because we were out in ways in his mind, probably outgrowing him and out maturing to levels past him. It wasn't normal.
Yeah.
So my mom was fine. My mom was great. She certainly, chronologically grew just the way she should.
Yeah.
I can't say my dad did the same. I'm sure that World War II and experiencing Germany and what was going on there affected him horribly.
For sure.
Because he certainly lived in Patton's army till the day he died, and he died years after Patton's army was over with. But it was certainly Patton made a huge effect on my dad. Huge effect. He was absolutely mesmerized by Patton. Patton was very charismatic and was very, out there.
Yeah.
And he made my dad, modeled himself a lot after that. So, these guys, these people find whatever, whatever makes them tick, but it's not healthy for your dad at all.
Right. When it's compromising
That's right.
your mental health. I mean, the additional info here, my dad says family is everything, and he battles with his own mental health. Having this much toxicity in his life isn't good for him. It weighs on him, which you were alluding to. And, I think that is tough when you grow up and a lot of everything around you points to family is everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get a little bit older and wiser, and you start to figure out that family can be chosen, which also makes sure that family you're choosing is also choosing you.
Mm-hmm.
That's important. Two-way street. Like we say all the time, just because you're blood related doesn't mean you have to continue a very dysfunctional, toxic cycle relationship with them. And a lot of people that go through things like this and do set some boundaries, get some space, or fully cut people off, they come out the other side with, the biggest weight lifted off of them. And they say, man, I wish I had done this 10 years sooner.
Respect has a lot to do with this. And if the grandparents and the aunt are not respecting their son and their brother, which is your dad, by the way, if I got I got the equation correct.
I think so.
He's got to learn to have his own self-respect. And I understand the family thing, but you don't give up yourself because of that.
Right.
And he is losing himself with these people. And that's not good either. So, it's interesting that you approach the write-in the way that you did. Can dad help my dad? And I really was even talking to Taylor, and I may have mentioned it too, that, and I've had people come to me saying, I'm a dad, how do I talk to my kids?
Yeah.
And I thought maybe I need to start a second show where I'm talking to the parents and
the parents can write in right here.
They can. I just don't know, if everyone's ready to go share their space. But the answer really is regarding your dad. He's got to have his own self-respect with these people. And he can't let them take him over because it's just not healthy for him.
Well, and especially if, the wills and inheritance and all that is being dangled.
Oh, it's
a
horrible.
Carrot on a stick.
Yeah, I don't buy any of that crap. If they're doing that shit, trust me, it's going to be a clusterfuck at the end of the day, anyways.
Well, and it may not be worth all the distress.
It is not,
because the most valuable thing we have is time on this earth, time alive, and compromising a significant portion of that time that you have to end up with a certain property, house, or a certain inheritance, it's not worth it.
Right. If they consider you that they want to do this, great. And if they want to go play a game with it, let them figure something else out. Your health is so much more valuable, and living life is so much more valuable. And you need to focus. And I'm going to say this, that, talking to your dad, he needs to focus on just living life to its fullest
and being happy
and not all this other crap. It's just not worth it.
Well, it's mental health, and it weighs on him, and stress just in general is the absolute worst thing. It causes everything else.
There's a no win on this one with these people.
Yeah.
They are. You have a clear picture. Maybe your dad just needs also to get some psychological assistance from somebody that can get some counseling on how to deal with it. Just because he's 50 doesn't mean he doesn't need some assistance.
Right.
So maybe that's the direction. If he can't cut himself free and take control of his life with these people on his own, then maybe he should get some assistance on how to do it.
I think that'd be good.
Nothing wrong with that one.
No.
Okay, we're going to move on.
Okay.
Another one of this week's partners is Haya. Did you know that typical children's gummies are just candy in disguise? They're usually filled with 2 teaspoons of sugar, unhealthy chemicals, and other gummy junk that your growing kids just should not have. That is actually why Haya was created. It is a pediatrician-approved, super-powered chewable vitamin. It's also sugar-free, and it's made without yeast, wheat, milk, gluten, eggs, soy, artificial colors, and all the gummy junk. And it's going to fill the most common gaps in your kids' diet. I know my niece and nephew right now are on just chicken nugget diet. Chicken nugget, chicken nugget, chicken nugget. So they need Haya to come in and kind of balance out the vitamins and minerals they're missing. Which Haya is actually pressed with a blend of 12 organic fruits and veggies, and then supercharged with 15 essential vitamins and minerals, including vitamin D, B12, C, zinc, folate, and many others. We've worked out a special deal with Haya for their best-selling children's vitamin. Receive 50% off your first order. To claim this deal, you must go to hayahealth.com/FKS. This deal is not available on their regular website. Go to HIYAHEALTH.com/FKS to get your kids the full body nourishment that they need to grow into healthy adults.
We're going to go to number 4.
Number 4.
Number 4.
I don't know how to keep this short because so much has happened, but strap in.
Oh.
You buckled in?
Oh, yeah. 5 points.
Secure?
Oh, yeah.
Hi, fam. I attended the live show in Chicago and one of my confessions was read.
Ooh.
I failed you all by not giving much detail then, so I feel like I owe you now.
Okay.
I also need advice.
We are here for you.
So that's where she goes on to say, I failed you all by not giving much detail, so I feel like I owe you now. I'm changing names for privacy. My husband, Ryan, and I have been together for 5 years. During our first year of dating, Ryan told me that he got super into genealogy and got a DNA test the previous year for his birthday from his mom. He told me when he got his results back, he had a paternal match for a woman named Claire. He was really confused and ended up getting another test from the other big DNA company. Same results. Weird, but okay. So Ryan messages Claire and she gives him one of many missing pieces to the puzzle. Claire said she donated sperm in college to make extra money. This was very unexpected. They exchanged a few emails, but life kept moving and Ryan just kind of kept it to himself. As I got to know Ryan and his friends better, it became obvious his friends all knew this about him, and it was something he was really cool about. We are very open-minded people, and we all make lighthearted jokes about the situation. Never any transphobic comments. That is not how we roll. I knew I was not supposed to make any of these comments or jokes around his family. I knew that, but I messed up. While I was in the car with Ryan's brother's girlfriend, Anne, I made one of those jokes, and it wasn't even funny. Anne gave me a weird look and asked me what I meant by the comment, and I froze. I knew I screwed up. I tried to get out of it, but I ended up caving. I made her promise not to tell her boyfriend, Mike, but I knew she tells him everything. Life moved on for a few years like nothing happened. Anne did tell Mike, but he kept it to himself until one day about 3 years later. I was newly postpartum, and Mike asked Ryan to go to coffee alone. I get a text from Ryan about an hour in saying, Mike told me you told him about the DNA test. I immediately threw up and seriously considered packing up the baby and fleeing. I was so ashamed and embarrassed. When Ryan got home, I apologized, and he actually thanked me. Everything was good, shockingly. Now the four of us and all our friends have this little secret. Mike ended up taking a DNA test and found out he is a different donor than Ryan and has a bunch of siblings. My husband has started to connect with the siblings he has found, and it's been really cool. We love seeing nature versus nurture in real time. Now, this is where we need advice. We want to ask Ryan and Mike's parents about it. While we do have a lot of questions, that is not our reasoning. Most of our questions are dumb, like, how was the process of picking out donors back then, and why did you pick who you picked? Ryan and his donor siblings are seriously talking about getting together, and we want to be a part of their lives if that ends up being a possibility. All the donor siblings live on the opposite side of the country, surprisingly close to one another, and Claire's parents are still alive and are open to meeting us too. Ryan's grandparents passed away more than 10 years ago, so this is kind of exciting for him. Also, we have children and hopefully we'll have some more. Kids have big mouths. The last thing we want is our kids saying, we flew on an airplane for a long time to go see Claire, and that being how the conversation comes up with the in-laws. We are aware that this is probably a very sensitive topic for my in-laws. How do we approach this with them?
Well, the parents did it. I mean, we live in the world of 23andMe. The mother originally gave the DNA test to him as a present. Go find out who your father is, basically.
True.
So she knows what's going on.
That's true. That is true.
I would be very frank and just upfront about it.
Yeah.
We have found this out that we're chasing all this down because we're interested in knowing, far as the genealogy of everybody, and we want to follow it. We just want to have a path. And the fact that we can connect with these people, this is our business. We're the ones that are living it.
Right.
So,
and we don't want to feel like we have to keep this huge secret.
We're going to be direct and honest about it. And we'll let you know we'll let you know what we find out. We'll keep you posted, Mom.
I mean, ideal outcome, ideally, we all just wish everything was out in the open and that father-in-law knows he is dad and that will never change.
Yeah.
We want to be able to speak freely about this and keep in-laws up to date with our bonus family members.
I always believe the truth sets you free. It's always good to have information. I mean, you guys may find out some stuff with DNA that is important to know.
That's true. That is very true.
So I don't see any negative. And if you find out that people are really not healthy and positive to know, you can always disconnect yourself at that point in time.
That's true. Well, and the fact that, the DNA test came from them originally, you'd have to think, I mean, maybe we're just kind of making this all up in our head, the fact that they might react poorly. Maybe that's just kind of you getting nervous and overthinking it. Because what if maybe they're just like, yeah, like just family conversation at the dinner table. And it's just totally normal.
Look, I mean, there's no doubt that, I'm Morgan's dad. And if in everyone else's mind, I'm Morgan's stepdad or whatever you may call me, or an adoptive dad, but I'm Morgan's dad. And the fact that she had genetics with her bio dad and their family, I was never weirded out about that at all.
Yeah.
Zero.
Yeah.
In fact, when her sister came, her half sister came to town. I say her sister. I told her she can stay with us at the house.
Yeah.
She's your sister. I have no problems with Paige.
Yeah.
I think she's a fine young lady. Let her come over. I've never been weird about that. And I can't imagine anybody that's healthy and emotionally, wants to see you have all the experiences that you can have in your life. They see how they're going to get in your way.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that also you have a couple options here. You either don't go down this path because you're too afraid of what it will do, with your relations with your parents and so forth. But it seems like you really want to follow this and you want to do this. So
again, they're in on it. They're the ones that gave you the gift.
Well, of course. So if you're going to do it, then what comes with that is you got to bring it up, get it out in the open, because you don't want your kid to be the one that, says something, which kids will. I mean, it's not wrong. Kid's going to say, I went on an airplane. They're excited about it. That is what would cause potential problems, you trying to hide it and then getting caught.
Yeah, I just think you should say, Mom and Dad, I just want to let you know what I'm doing. This is cool, and I'll let you know how it goes.
Yeah, all positive.
Yeah.
No negatives here.
Yeah, don't bring any fear into it. Just stay all positive and good energy.
Yeah. It's kind of a fun, journey. I'd be curious.
Yeah, absolutely.
Meet a bunch of people. What if you and one of them have very similar hobbies and tastes and you become great friends and, you never know where your next best friend's going to come from.
You have no idea.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to roll on number 5.
Another one of this week's partners is Dipsy. Where are all my romance book lovers at? I myself love a dragon shapeshifter romance book, guilty pleasure, but I haven't had a whole lot of time to read lately, which is why I've been getting into audiobooks more. Put them on as I'm cleaning or just trying to wind down after a crazy day. And that is where Dipsy comes in. Dipsy is a female-founded app for spicy audiobooks and more. It was created by women for women, and there's over 1,000 different spicy audiobooks, all crafted by a team of professional writers and top-tier narrators. So whether you're into fantasy like me, or maybe a rugged cowboy, Scottish sailor, fae royalty, god of the underworld, whatever you're looking for, Dipsy is going to have it. And their app makes it real easy to find. You just type a keyword of what you're kind of looking for, and usually quite a few options pop up. And new chapters are released every week, so you're always going to find something to keep you entertained or help you practice some quality self-care. So for listeners of the show, Dipsy is offering an extended 30-day free trial when you go to dipsystories.com/FKS. That's 30 days of full access for free when you go to dipseastories.com/FKS. dipsystories.com/FKS.
Number 5.
That's with the big hands. 5.
How do I get over the fact that my birth mother will never want me? Hi, you guys. I first just want to say I really enjoy both pods and love how much you all love each other. I want to apologize in advance for how long this is going to be, but there's so much to this story. My dad used to be married to a woman. We will call her Jay. Jay gave birth to me and my 2 older brothers and was an on-again, off-again mother. She'd be in my life for days or months at a time, long enough that I built a connection, but never long enough to be the best parent with legal custody. The last time I actually saw her in person was when I was 5, and she left me in the parking lot of the grocery store my dad worked at. A custody court date was the next day, and she did not show up to that, nor has she shown up at any day since. When I was 8, she messaged my dad on Facebook, telling him that once I was 18, she would like a relationship with me and my brothers. But until we were no longer her financial responsibility, she could not physically see us. My dad used his best judgment and declined us even having an online relationship with her through social media. I am now 23, and I still have not heard from her, seen her, anything from her since the day she abandoned me at 5 years old. My older brother, B, recently found the current active Facebook and other social medias she is using. Through these, we found out that she's never lived more than 30 minutes away from us and has always lived near her parents, my grandparents. I have since friended and messaged her on social media, not asking for anything from her, but to meet up and talk so I can better understand why she left. Those messages and friending were only met with me being blocked and her blocking my older brother. So Jerry, Morgan, Justin, the whole crew, how do I come to terms with the fact that even though I'm no longer a financial burden to her, the woman who gave birth to me wants nothing to do with me or my siblings?
First of all, you can't take it personally because you didn't do anything except you were born.
True.
So let's just look at we're going to look at this very factual. This woman gave you a great gift. She gave you life. However, emotionally, she doesn't have the ability of giving anything else. If she was not emotionally tilted, for lack of a better description, or disconnected, you would have a normal relationship with her. But she's unable to have that normal relationship for whatever her reasons are.
Yeah.
So rather than take it personally, which I hope you do not, this is all on her emotional stability, where she is at, just far as a person or as an adult or as someone, she's dysfunctional. And we don't know why or anything else about it, but I wouldn't push it. I mean, she identified, who she is. You just need to find someone else in your life to be that person that if you need to connect with someone that's older. I wasn't sure if she said that she's connected to her grandparents or not. She knows who they are.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
your grandparents have a right to know who you are. If you want to go talk to your grandparents and say, I don't even know if you recognize that I'm around. But, I'm 24 years old. I'm not a child. I'm a young woman.
Yeah.
And I'd like to at least get to know you and see where that takes you, because they also have a right to say you're in our life or not in our life. And they might be just as dysfunctional. We have no idea what you're walking into with this person and how she got to be who she is. So you can, certainly see that if it takes you anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, it would be really tough to deal with this. Like you said, it has nothing to do with you, and it has everything to do with her.
That's correct.
It's everything internal with her and whatever she's dealing with. It does kind of suck because you had this, 18. Oh, once I turn 18, then she possibly wants to have a relationship. And then obviously that didn't happen. Mm-hmm. So it's just been,
I wonder
kind of your whole life.
What does your dad say about this? I mean, your dad obviously knew her well enough that he had, look, they were lovers. I mean, it didn't happen because he, looked at her in the eye. I mean, there was a connection somewhere down the road there.
Yeah. Well, they were married.
He might have an idea of what's going on in her mind, and I'm surprised that you don't have more information from your father.
Well, maybe they do talk about it. I mean, maybe.
We don't know.
Yeah. I mean, additional info. My dad has done an absolutely beautiful job raising me, and I'm so lucky to have a dad who cares so much about me. but I feel like I can't talk to him about these feelings because I don't want to make him feel bad or that his love wasn't enough.
Well, I can't say how your dad's going to react. I know that as a dad, if someone in the same situation was saying, hey, you and mom didn't work out, what was going on with her? I would give you the ability of knowing my best assessment of what the experience was to help you try to put things piece things together. So don't need to put your dad in such a delicate position. He's a guy, he raised kids. He's pretty strong. Give him the chance and the opportunity to succeed by explaining to you rather than disabling his ability to succeed because you're worried about controlling the situation. Yeah. Don't control the situation. Ask him. Yeah. See what he says.
Yeah. Well, then, ideal outcome, coming to terms with my mother never truly wanting me and letting go of the anger and hurt I feel towards her every day. And what I think is, in life, we end up on a wide scale of different problems or hurtful things or tough situations. And a lot of the times we end up in them and we have no control. We didn't choose to end up in them. They just happen. And the thing is, kind of like we talked about in the other story, when you have something like that going on and hurting you often and every day or however often it happens, every day, the hurt I feel towards every day, it really will begin to weigh on you and, it can be
detrimental to you.
It can. And so I think therapy would be amazing to help you come to terms with the situation. And then, for things that I've dealt with in my life, when I realize I have no control over it and it just kind of is the way it is, I really try to make an effort to not give it energy, not give it thought. And I know that's easier said than done. And it's so different for every different situation. But hopefully through therapy and through some just internal self work or whatever you want to call it, you can get to a point where it doesn't affect you so much and you can accept the reality of what it is and not have it hit you so personally.
I think the most important thing that you really have here to get control of, and by talking to your dad and maybe your grandparents, is you want to be clear what's going on because, look, you're going to one day, be in a relationship. You're going to be hopefully a mom, if that's going to be your choice. But you also want to be able to not have any of these things haunting you because of what you experienced. You want to be able to get as clean of a slate on your mom, on the dysfunction that your mom had, where it doesn't affect you going the next step, the next generation.
Yeah.
But the most important thing that you can really do is make sure that you can have a relationship with your children.
Yeah.
And have it healthy. And your dad gave you a great example of that. There's no doubt. But, it would be nice to make sure that you are prepared and have a knowledge what went on with her so you don't let it affect you going forward.
Well, and you can be the mom that you didn't have.
Yeah.
You can be that for someone.
These are the concerns and the thoughts that I have. And I hope that you'll write us and let us know how things worked out.
Yeah. Well, and with all the stories, therapy is great for anyone at any stage, any age, whatever. It's a great tool. Even if everything's happy, fine, and dandy, it can give you, the tools and the preparation you need for when something does happen.
Yeah. Everybody has had circumstances in their life that affected them certain ways.
Yeah.
Nobody gets away from that. So are we going to do number 6 or are we going to save that for Patreons?
It's up to you.
Let's go do it.
Okay.
Pop one out.
All right.
Number 6.
I'm having a hard time trying to decide what to do. I moved to a new state with my husband. We have a child together and we're going through a divorce. And I'm trying to figure out if I want to stay so she'll have her father in her life or if I should move back to my home state. But I would feel really bad because she wouldn't get to see her dad as much as she does now. The thing is, if I stay, I don't have a lot of help and I don't make enough for daycare. But if I move back to my state, I would have lots of help.
Well, it's a good conversation to have with your soon-to-be ex. And because that's the participation that he may need to help facilitate with you, because this is really about your child together.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if he is willing to participate, help you financially, if that's what we're talking about here, and other things, to make it work, that you guys can have two separate lives without jealousy.
Right. Right.
But we work as independent parents, and we raise our kids as independent parents, recognizing that we created this child together. We are going to raise this child together, even though that we're not going to be together as a couple.
Yes.
And if you guys can master that concept, then there might be a healthy way to do this.
That is true. I mean, though you're going through a divorce, there is a lot going for you. You made it to the stage where you decided you're going to be better off apart than together,
Correct.
Which ultimately you'll both be better parents to your child, though you are apart.
Mm-hmm.
You're going through a divorce, but you guys seem to be cordial enough to where you still want your child to have a relationship with their father,
mm-hmm.
to where you're debating not even heading back home, where you'd have so much more help and people around
Mm-hmm.
you. So I think you're in a really good spot despite, these major changes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just curious what the dynamics are. I'm curious why we are in a different state. I know you said I moved to a new state with my husband. Maybe that's where he's from. Or is it a Morgan and me situation where you both kind of are both away from home, just in a different state? I'm curious.
Job could have been that.
Could have been job. Yeah, there's a lot at play. So, I always think of a pros cons list, but it's more detailed than that. You can start to look at the different dynamics and options,
Mm-hmm.
and have an open mind to creative solutions. Where can he relocate closer, or is he kind of locked down here? Or I'm trying to think outside the box.
Well, you keep doing that. I'm having a good time watching you bouncing around.
Hey,
that box.
The ideal outcome, I want to make it so my daughter will be happy and that it will be easy on her.
I think this all begins with a conversation of you two as parents to say, what do we want together for our, for our little girl? And what are we willing to do for it?
Yeah.
And that's where kids become adults. And you can figure out how you're going to focus and create this, responsible parent relationship where you're not emotionally killing each other because of being in the wrong marriage.
Yeah.
And if he's a participant, that he can deal with it this way and say, hey, I am so glad that we're able to have this, this partnership in raising our child, that we don't have to be angry with one another, that we can do the best.
Yeah.
And together we're going to raise her. I think that's very healthy. If you find out that cannot work, then, and he's not participating with you, then you need to go, you should be able to go to where you feel comfortable, where you can live easier and have backup and go home.
Yeah. It's always an option.
Yeah.
So you could, the reality is, either way, I don't know what your job situation is. There's so much, other information
we don't get
that
it.
comes into play. And if you didn't necessarily want to leave your job yet in this other state, you could stay and just feel it out. What's a few months? What's 6 months? I know, I'm curious, the age of your child. Are we talking about changing schools? Are we talking about your child losing a lot of their friends?
She might, if this child might be so young, it might just be changing cribs.
Right. Right. And then there'd be no effect.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of dynamics here, but with any of these really tough situations or family dynamics, it helps to not get super overwhelmed, take it piece by piece, one bite size at a time, solve the little problems. And then I think as you really start piecing it together,
Mm-hmm.
the puzzle comes together a lot easier instead of trying to do it all at once.
I really do think that this is, as I'm sitting here and we're talking, it's got to be an equal effort on both parts. If he's not going to be an equal effort in this, then don't waste your time. Go find where you're going to have it easier and give more stability to your daughter by going home, if that's going to be the case. If he is an equal participant with you and you guys are going to figure this out as responsible parents to do this, then you have a shot. That's the way I see it.
Yeah. And, who knows how many states away are we talking? Across the country? Or is it right next door?
Oh, no.
Then you could get your pilot's license and fly back and forth. I don't know, but I'm very curious.
They do make a jet suit that you can just put on the jetpack and you can fly there. There's these new hovercrafts that you can
just strap the kid to your chest.
I don't know. There's all kinds of stuff out there. We're going to have teleporters soon. I'm sure. With Elon Musk, I'm sure we're going to be in the land of Star Trek, and we'll be Scotty, beam me up or beam me over there. You never know.
Well, I want to go to the moon, so.
I know. You want to go to Mars, actually.
I do.
I've been watching a lot about Mars.
Okay.
I have. I mean, it's amazing what they're doing. That is it for this episode.
That is
number 6. We did it. We got through them all. I want to thank you guys for writing in and participating and being part of the THT and Father Knows family.
That's right.
Don't forget, if you're a couple and you want to watch Midwest and Married, Matthew and Amy, they have their podcast.
You don't got to be a couple to watch. You can be in anybody and watch.
Yeah, that's it. Well, I think I've seen about a half an episode. I haven't been able to sit down and watch it. So
well, you know what else works?
That's on my agenda this weekend.
Your little pups or kitty cats or whatever pets you got at home. They like to listen to stuff. Why not throw on Father Knows for them while you're gone?
And let them just listen to our voice.
Yeah, just let the episodes play.
That's great.
Yeah. It's like that one dog that gets really hyped up, or the cat that gets super excited when the theme song plays.
Really?
Every time.
There you go. Leave us, let it rip. Put us on loop.
Yeah.
For the dogs.
Yeah.
And the kitties. Very funny. All righty, guys. We will see you next week.
Yes.
So we are going to be doing road trips. So we hope that you find us in one of the cities we are going to. Be healthy, be happy, and let's get through the holiday season and get to the new year.
Yeah.
And we'll do it all together. So good night.
Goodbye.